Okay, we have a question from the web on Cameco. Do you still own it after this rally?
Yes, I still own Cameco. It's been quite a nice rally so far the last year or so, and at the current time, I have no plans to sell it. So I'll continue to hold it for the time being. I wrote in the January 2021 issue of Contra the Herd that I actually expected some sort of pullback here because I was looking at it, insiders were starting to sell, the valuations looked a bit high, and the uranium outlook or the price of uranium started to waffle a bit. So I looked at that and said, well, we could see a pullback here. I'm going to hold my shares for much longer, or I anticipate to, but I could see a pullback, and that hasn't happened. I've just been wrong so far, and it's continued to do quite well.
Yeah, it has rallied quite a bit. What do you think you got wrong there?
I would say I got a few things wrong. The first thing is a big timing item, and that is that the Supreme Court of Canada refused to hear the CRA's case against Cameco for a tax dispute that's been going on for over a decade now and tied up more than $2 billion. So it's a massive, massive tax case. And the Supreme Court of Canada basically looked at this and said, well, the lower courts have already ruled on this, and why are you here? They've already ruled on it, and your appeal doesn't make sense to us. So I think this effectively puts this case to bed, and the market obviously likes that. Now, what could happen is the CRA could come back, and they could try for the years 2007 to 2014, that set of tax years, not just the 2003 to 2006 tax years, which is what the Supreme Court of Canada just ruled on. But my guess is that the Supreme Court at this point would say, well, we've already decided it's the same set of rules based on the same company and the same subsidiary and the same practices. So, go away. It's game over. You've lost. And that would be my guess as to what they'll do. So that's the first thing I got wrong. The second thing is that their competitors, Kazakh, Denison Mines, and Uranium Energy Corp, all started buying uranium on the spot market. And Cameco's been doing this for quite a while. I was skeptical of this idea at first, but it's sure mopping up a lot of supply out there and helping balance the market. So that's helping the company. And then the final thing is that the Japanese government seems to be recognizing that if they want to meet their carbon targets or their CO2 reduction targets, they're going to have to start firing back up more of their nuclear plants. And that would bring a lot more demand back into the market from a country that has historically been a very large nuclear producer. And I don't expect the Japanese will ever be gung-ho about nuclear again, but I do expect them to start taking a pragmatic kind of approach to how they reach their CO2 goals and how they power their economy. And it looks like nuclear is a good way to do that, and it looks like the Japanese government is starting to recognize that too.
Sounds like there's a few shifting dynamics in the uranium market at the moment. Speaking of which, did you hear that the UK government is looking to increase its nuclear arsenal in the coming years?
I did see that, yeah. If I remember correctly, they're going to add, or they have 180 now, and they're going to increase it to 250 or 260. So that I don't think moves the uranium market at all. And the first reason for this is that while warheads have very high enriched uranium in them, the amount of uranium in there is quite small. And then the second is that the US and Russians are withdrawing and decommissioning way more nukes on a yearly basis than the British are about to add. So I think if you go on Wikipedia, you can see what they currently have globally and where they're projected to go. And I think the US has 5,800, and they want to decrease that by 2,000 over the next 2 years. And then the Russians have like 6,400, and they want to decrease it by 1,000 over the next 2 years. So that's a much larger reduction than the British are about to increase it. And so for that reason, I don't see this moving the market at all in any way.
Yeah, it sounds more like just a headline than anything.
Yeah, it is more of just a headline than anything.